All right, so we have so many updates regarding Johnny Somali. We have new information on when he's going to trial, what charges he's currently facing, and at what stage of the process they are. And all of these updates are coming to us from the channel Legal Mindset. So once again, huge shout out to Legal Mindset. Go check out his channel in the description. But without further ado, let's get started on the updates. So Legal Mindset visited the Maple police station yesterday where he was able to obtain a ton of new information. And the first new information is actually, when is Johnny Somali's first court appearance? Well, it turns out that last Monday, he updated his address and requested a public defender. The prosecutor that was assigned for his trial has more than a 90% win ratio for obstruction of work business. And the first hearing of his trial will occur in December 2024, likely before the holidays. So very soon, you will see Johnny Somali in a courtroom. Now, a lot of you guys have been mentioning that you see numbers all over the place as to how many years he's potentially facing. And sometimes it's 10, 22, 70, 1,000. Now we are going to break it down thanks to the info from the Legal Mindset to find out the accurate number of years he is facing in prison for current filed charges and potential charges. But first, before we can do that, we need to understand how the South Korean justice system works and what is the process. So Legal Mindset made this graph to explain it. Step number 1, the criminal complaint is submitted. They must find all the information on the defendant, passport info, date of birth, location, etc. Must properly format the criminal complaint. Step 2, the police investigation typically lasts approximately 2 to 4 months. Police conduct interviews of defendants and witnesses. Police receive evidence. Police decide whether to drop the case or refer it to a prosecutor with a recommendation of indictment. Stage number 3, prosecutor investigation. That lasts approximately 2 to 4 months. Prosecutors are tougher than police. Cases are rarely dropped. Prosecution conducts a tougher interview with the defendant, and prosecutors will try to aggravate the crimes, put more charges. Stage number 4, the trial. Hearings open to the public. Format, open arguments, hearings spaced out approximately 2 months, and then verdict day. The verdict and sentencing are typically on the same day. And step 5, post-sentence. Cannot leave the country while serving the sentence. Punishment could be fined, forced labor if you cannot pay, prison or suspended sentence. And if you are convicted of multiple crimes, the punishment can be worse. Now, keep in mind that the trial section takes about 7 months. So right now, Johnny Somali is looking at being forced to stay in Korea for at least 7 months. And then in June, he's going to be sent to prison. So yeah, not looking good for him whatsoever. So now that we understand how the South Korean justice system works, let's take a look at the current and potential charges. So obstruction of business, it's at stage 4. That's the one where he has been formally indicted with and he's going to trial for. And there's one count at least, and there's another count that is pending. And the penalty per count is up to 5 years of imprisonment and up to 15 million Korean won, approximately $11,000. Now there's the deepfake images. It is at stage 2. The police are investigating it. There's at least 3 counts, potentially more, and the penalty per count is up to 5 years in prison and a fine of up to 50 million, approximately $40,000 if obscene, longer prison sentence and charges in digital harassment may be added. Now the next charges is assault. Once again at stage 2, police investigation. Counts at least 1, there's possibly more, and simple assault is up to 2 years of imprisonment and up to 5 million won, approximately $4,000. Aggravated assault up to 10 years in prison, requires injury or weapon. Obscene threats to children, stage 2, police investigation. There's at least 1 count and it's up to 3 years of imprisonment. Now, public indecency, stage 2, once again, police investigation, counts at least 1 and up to 1 year of imprisonment. Now, before we continue, because there are more charges, I just want to remind you guys that yes, most of these are in stage 2, which is police investigation, but they are supposed to take approximately 2 to 4 months. Clearly, the pressure that was on the South Korean government forced them to act much quicker in the obstruction case, because they only took, I believe, 2 weeks to formally charge him from the date of the incident. So clearly, they are working at an accelerated pace for Johnny Somali because of his presence online. And I just want to say, you guys have to be patient. A lot of these things will take a lot of time. At least he's formally charged with obstruction, and everything else will fall into place as the investigation goes through. And that's why most of these are still in the investigation stage. Now, let's keep reading. So let's talk about the other potential charges. Illegally accessing obscene material, 1 year in prison. Violation of railroad safety laws, 2 years in prison. Incitement to violence, up to 3 years in prison. Anti-terrorism laws, up to 7 years in prison. Then we have the charges that were filed by Korean YouTubers. Now, I don't know how that works. I don't know how a citizen can press charges like that. What's the process? I honestly don't know. But it says that for blackmail, he can serve up to 10 years in prison, insults up to 1 year, deepfakes 5 or more years, threats to children up to 3 years, business obstruction up to 5 years, supporting the DPRK up to 7 years. So if you want to add up everything that he's potentially facing if he gets the max sentence, which almost never happens, you could say he's facing 248 years or 722, whatever number you want to put on it. But the real number of what he is currently facing for the charges that he has been indicted for is 5 years. But that will be updated soon, as the YouTuber Legal Mindset says that more charges will be filed next week. He also said that one of Johnny Somali's top moderators has jumped the ship and is now willing to have an interview with him, and that will be tomorrow morning. So if that's interesting, you best believe I'll give you my take on it. But there are other updates as well. If you guys have been watching the channel, you know that I have received a couple privacy complaints. Legal Mindset has received, I believe, 7, and those have been rejected by YouTube. So now he's probably going to try to do copyright strikes or other type of BS, but it rarely works. It's not a good idea, especially to do it against a lawyer. Now, before I wrap up, I just want to say that Johnny Somali's ship is sinking, and it's sinking fast, because apparently not only will one of his top moderator do an interview with Legal Mindset tomorrow, but there's another of his moderator that is jumping ship and is leaking information. So yeah, Johnny Somali is going downhill so quickly, and the worst part for him is that he cannot harass people for money anymore, because he's under the scrutiny of the South Korean government. He's totally screwed. He's going to have to wait 7 months, and when the 7 months is over, he's just going to go to prison. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I'm keeping you updated with only fresh, relevant, and new information. Also, take a look at my videos on other topics, such as what happens when Kick streamers get absolutely owned by angry citizens. For that video, click on the link on the screen right now. And until then, I'll see you guys on the next one.